decid. No me andaré con rodeos. El dominante de Leviatán se encuentra en apuro y mi intención es salvarlo. No es tarea sencilla, necesito la ayuda de alguien capacitado. Me ha asegurado que no hay nadie mejor para ello que el mayor infame de toda Balistea. No puedo darte más detalles por temor a que esta carta caiga en malas manos. Pero si estás interesado en echarme una mano, habla con Leila en el manto de la noche. En North Tears. Ella te orientará. Vale, o sea.
Leviathan the Lost.
Leviatán. Este es el que me quería hacer.
After all this time.
Why, what now?
Oh, I'm not sure you'd believe me if I told you.
After all we've been through. I doubt there's anything that could surprise me at this point.
All right then. Rouse Joshua and meet me in the mess. We'll talk there. I see we're all here.
So, what is it this time?
I'm not sure yet. The letter delivered to my chambers omitted a few crucial details.
Do we know its provenance?
That was one of the details it omitted. But whoever the sender was, it seems the dame held them in high enough regard to point them in our direction.
The dame? Well, she's not one to waste our time. It must be important.
Important might be an understatement.
Cayó ahora lo de la carta.
If the letter is to be believed, Leviathan's dominant is in danger. And someone wants us to save him.
Leviathan?
So the Warden of Water has finally returned. What has it been? 100 years?
More. The Lost moniker dates back at least that long. Even our venerable lawsman would not have been so much as a glint in his father's eye when last the mighty serpent brought his crushing waves to bear upon the realm.
But why the gap? I know it can be a few years before a new dominant's born. But over a century?
Should the dominant of Water's bloodline have been severed somehow, it could have prevented a new dominant from awakening.
But if one has awakened now, he couldn't have chosen a worse time. Every nation in the realm has lost its dominant. If word gets out that there is still one to be had, they will stop at nothing to claim it for their own.
And the twins will be at war again, just when humanity most needs to come together. Did the letter say anything else?
Only that if I wish to know more, we must meet in person. And that the Veil can arrange a meeting.
If nothing else, you can be certain it ain't a trap.
Famous last words. I'm coming with you.
As am I.
Thank you. Both of you. And Otto?
Yeah. I'll keep an eye on things here. Didn't fancy coming anyway.
Thank you. I shall leave the Invincible in your capable hands.
Vale. Los objetivos de la misión Marea Creciente se marcarán en la pantalla con el icono F. Tras aceptar esta misión, perfecto, igual que el otro. Vale.
To the Veil it is, then.
Looks like you've got a thirst.
But enough talk.
Fancy a peek behind the veil, my lord?
I'm looking for a Layla.
You found one. So, will your friends be joining in? Or just watching?
We're not here for your services. We simply want to talk.
What you do with your time is up to you. The price is still the same.
Ya puta.
We're here about the letter.
Oh. Oh, sorry. I suppose you'll be wanting to know who wrote it then.
Among other things.
Look, I'm just the messenger here. There's only so much I can tell you.
Specifically?
A location, north of town, on the shore of Isle of Feist Bay. There you'll find a tent and the woman who can answer your questions.
And that's all? Nothing else?
Actually, one thing. There's more than flowers in the meadows these days. So keep that sword of yours to hand.
Tengo. No te preocupes. Cojones.
Does anyone else think it's strange that this woman should prefer to keep to the outskirts of town?
Not if she realizes the value of the information she's party to.
And the danger it puts her in.
Ambrosia.
Let's go.
¡Ya! Ambrosía. Nivel 90, ¿eh? No voy a llegar al
Tent is where
99
Layla said it
ni
would
de coña.
be.
Yes, but who awaits us inside?
It's empty. Why am I not surprised? The boat. No prizes for guessing who that belongs to.
Pues aún todavía.
The embers are still warm.
So you're Sid.
I suppose I must be. Which means you have me at a disadvantage.
Apologies. I am Shula, tributary of Mysidia, final haven of the Motes of Water.
The motes of water.
The very tribe into which it was believed Leviathan's dominant was born. A people notable for their sapphire eyes and ivory hair. Yet that would be impossible, since the tribe famously...
Vanished. Was exterminated. Despite the best efforts of both church and state, we are still very much alive. Though we've managed to keep that fact hidden from good Krieger's faithful for over a century.
Along with Leviathan's dominant.
That wave out there. What do you know of it?
The Surge. Only that it's been there a long time.
Since the fall of Drake's Eye almost a century ago. Some claim the two are connected, but none can speak with any certainty.
So in other words, you know nothing. Not that I'll hold it against you. The wave was raised by Leviathan in an act of rage. Moments before the waters were stayed, and the icon and its dominant bound within.
And you want us to?
Rescue him. Yes. You see, a little bird told me about a certain outlaw with a singular knack for putting unruly dominants in their place. And ours is about as unruly as they get. For years, we've searched for someone who could hold their own against an icon. Someone just like you. So what do you say? Will you help us?
What exactly did your dominant do to warrant this punishment?
What did he do? He committed the greatest crime one of his kind can. He was born. But he deserves a better fate than the one my people forced upon him. He deserves to be free.
As do we all. Very well. Far-fetched though your tale may seem, something tells me you speak in earnest. So we will do what we can for your dominant. But first, you will tell us everything you know about him and the means of his imprisonment.
I can do better than that. I can show you. Care to take a trip across the bay? My people await you there.
Lead the way.
Hala, vamos a ver al dominante. De Leviatán. Cañón olvidado. Quienes logran cruzar el estrecho paso de montaña de la capa sin precipitarse al vacío contemplan un imponente paisaje de tierra estigia donde la bahía Olifeis hasta el mar Santa Gracia. Vale, esto es lo de la ola, ¿no? Esto es una ola entonces congelada o algo, o cristalizada. Congelado no puede ser porque no es chiva. Vamos a salir de dudas.
All right, you might want to hold on to something. We're coming up on the wall, and passing through can take a bit of getting used to.
I don't see any wall.
Of course you don't. That's the point. It's a glamour woven by our ancestors to keep our village hidden from prying eyes. But don't take my word for it. Watch.
That was worse than a slug of Bacchus wine.
Clive, the sky.
It's blue, but how is that possible?
You do know what a glamour is, don't you? Ours just happens to work both ways, and a good thing too. I wouldn't fancy staring at those sickly clouds every day.
Se ve espectacular el juego. El agua es increíble. Pague de verdad.
And that concludes our little voyage. We're here. It's a long slog to the village, and a hard one. I hope you're up for a climb.
Finally.
What? You didn't think we'd arrived, did you? The village isn't up here. It's on the other side of the mountain.
Of course it is. She wouldn't hear me.
Watch yourself, Sid. This path can be treacherous. If not for the sheer drop, then for the beasts who prowl it.
Thank you for the warning. And please, call me Clive. Sid is an alias.
You will be pleased to learn, Lady Shula, that I have no such aliases.
Is that so, Lord Margrace?
It's all the same to me. I was wondering when they'd pick up our scent.
Stand back. We'll handle this.
Oh, will you now? Shall I keep my acts and spells to myself then?
Earlier you mentioned spells, yet I see you carry no crystals.
Since when did a bearer ever need crystals?
But then, where is your brand?
Waiting for me in Sombrek, if I ever get careless.
Then it's in for a long wait.
We're almost at the summit. From there, you'll have a better view of our home. Few have ever set eyes on what I'm about to show you. Just so you know.
This is not what I expected.
Welcome, my friends, to Mysidia.
Es que no veo cómo se ve, ¿eh? Ah, coño, pues
It's
una
been
hora
a
con el
long
ar-
time since I saw the North looking so
Alive. How
I'm
is-
sure you have plenty of questions, but it's been a long journey, and I expect we could all do with a rest. Our humble village is only a short way from here, if you'd care to accompany me. Let's get ourselves in front of a fire, and I'll tell you everything you need to know.
Es que mira cómo se ve.
it's beautiful, Shula.
And we aim to keep it that way.
Mira cómo se ve. Qué barbaridad. Qué juegazo es esto, ¿eh? Qué maravilla. ¡Qué coño que te atacan! Todos los transferidos. Mira, qué gracioso los renitos. Voy a verlo.
Those stones glowing.
That's one of the cairns which maintain the glamour. Steer well clear.
If the surge was an act of rage,
One wonders what prompted it.
Es que mira cómo se ve el agua y cómo se ve todo. Ese es el rayo que se supone que mantendrá esto al dominante congelado. Qué barbaridad, cómo se ve, ¿eh? Un juego espectacular. ¿Qué me ha dado al morirse? Hostia. Incrementa la velocidad y la distancia relativa con la destreza, impulso y genio. Que eso es esto de aquí, ¿no? Oh, mira.
could we not have spared ourselves the mountain crossing by landing further north?
In clear view of the bay?
El agua, ¿eh?
evening tides.
Does morning's light return?
Open the gates! The tributary is home!
Qué pueblo más bonito.
Outsiders? Well, I never.
Look at the size of that dog.
All right now, back to your duties. You'll have to forgive my people their curiosity. We don't get many visitors. Or any, truth be told.
Then we are honored to be the first.
This is quite extraordinary. Like stepping into another world.
So do you believe me now?
You've made it difficult not to, my lady. But how did your people chance to settle here in the north? Unless I am much mistaken, the moats of water long called the coasts of southern Ash their home. Until Drake's Horn fell and the Blight forced them ever inland, where...
We met our doom, along with our dominant. I see you've read the Gregorian Church's account, but perhaps you'd like to hear ours. That building over there is the Witten Hall. It's where my people gather to discuss matters of import. We can speak more inside, once the place is ready to receive you. It shouldn't take long, but you're welcome to explore the village while I see to things.
Thank you. We'll do just that.
Just you stay away from that temple. Do you hear me?
I'm sorry, but I don't like it.
The poor things are as pale as ghosts.
Please, Grandad, tell us another story about the witch.
No parece que haya cofre ni nada.
You used to work on the outside, didn't you?
How long do you think this bridge has been standing here? Look, Nan, it's the outsiders. Gosh, look.
Intruders! We must flee.
Forasteros, tenemos que huir. Porque viera a matante.
Welcome to Haven. The tributary awaits you within the Witten Hall.
So what do you think of our little haven in the woods? It might not have all the comforts of a southern settlement, but at least it's ours.
And there's a lot to be said for that. It can't have been easy keeping this place a secret.
Not easy, no. We've dedicated our lives to maintaining the glamour that conceals us. Us and Walias.
This man, Walias, is he Leviathan's dominant?
That's right. Though he's no man, Walias is still a baby.
A baby?
Forgive me, but you said that the Dominant and his icon were bound inside the Surge almost a century ago. That would surely make him older still.
It would, if he'd been allowed to age. But the spell robbed the poor bairn of even that.
I'm sorry.
Walias was the son of my great-grandfather. Leviathan awoke within him almost immediately. But instead of allowing the lad to live out his life as a valued member of the community, my ancestors sought to put his power to other uses. Sadly for them, the icons sensed their treachery and summoned a wave so large it would have swallowed the entire village if my ancestors hadn't stopped him.
Está congelada en el
Then it is
tiempo, no
not the
congela
surge
de
that
hielo.
binds the child, but time itself.
Yes.
Forgive me. I'm still not sure I understand.
I'm not surprised. It isn't the easiest thing to explain.
Es un bebé.
Which is why it might be better if I took you to see him. Show you exactly what he has to endure.
That is why we came.
Then let us be off. There's a road that leads north from the village. It'll take us right into the Surge.
Are you bound for the wave, tributary?
We are, Delina. Have you spread the word about our guests?
I have. Everyone knows to treat them as family.
You shouldn't have any trouble now, but just in case, I would have you accept this symbol of our people.
That's very kind. I look forward to meeting the family.
The feeling's mutual.
Should the tributary be indisposed, feel free to ask me any questions you might have regarding the village, and I'll do my best to answer.
Thank you. We will.
Then I bid you good tide.
Que la marea os acompañe. Esto es como la fuerza.
Our storehouse lies across the bridge. If you're short of supplies, you may find what you need there. Though we will have to ask you for recompense, poor as we are.
Vale, o sea que hay misiones secundarias aquí y todo. Estará de bastante. Primero vamos a hacer lo de... la historia.
There's a pair of ships just up ahead.
Ships? But are we not still leagues from the shore?
Okay.
The quickest route to the Surge is due east, past the second galley.
Shula, how did these ships come to be here?
What do you imagine happens when an icon of water gets angry?
Really, brother, did you have to ask?
Converies. Foul creatures consumed by their hatred for everyone and everything.
Everything. Sharp knives, it seems.
Ahora que una baja, me mata. Ahora 91. primera vez que veo Tomberry aquí.
I can smell the sea.
It's not far now.
How will we reach the surge?
We'll follow the coastline north. There's a bridge that'll take us across to the cape.
Mira cómo se ve esto, El agua. Qué locura. Era una manera.
Might I inquire about the ray of light?
It's what prevents the surge from being reclaimed by the sea. And Dwalius by his people.
You said before that the child is bound within the surge. But you've yet to tell us how we're meant to reach him. I trust we won't have to hold our breath.
No. The surge wraps around the cape without engulfing it. If we continue to its tip, there is a path down to the seabed. And the wave's origin.
All right. It won't be the first dominant we've met at the bottom of the ocean.
It's not much further now.
The path seems well kept. Do you and the villagers often come this way?
Only me. Once every new moon without fail. It is my duty both as village elder and Wallace's descendant.
But surely no one blames you for what happened. Why should you bear the responsibility alone?
You misunderstand. I do it because I want to. To show him that he isn't alone, and that there are still some of us who would see an end to his suffering. Suffering you will soon witness with your own eyes. The forest grows quickly here. Left unattended, the path would be reclaimed in a matter of moons.
Does the light point the way to the child?
It does indeed.
Look at all the droplets of water suspended in midair.
Where they have remained untouched by time for 80 summers.
It's not right.
No. It's not.
There. Up ahead. Down in the center. Follow me.
Tócate los cojones.
He's still primed.
I'll never forget my first priming. The fear. I was old enough to understand what was happening. One can only imagine how this poor child felt.
He is the victim of an unforgivable sin. Committed by people who saw him as nothing but a means to an end. He must be so frightened.
Then I'll ease his burden.
You don't mean?
I'm not going to hurt him. Contrary to the tales, I don't go around killing dominants for no reason. What if I told you there was a way to remove Wallace's icon?
I tell you, you were a madman.
It's hard to believe, I know. But it can be done. Though, it isn't without its risks. Part of the icon remains no matter what.
So, it might still come to violence.
I don't know. It depends on the dominant. I've seen things end well, and I've seen things spiral out of control. But I do know one thing. If we turn our backs on this child, there will be no end to his suffering. And I think that a worse fate than the alternative. Don't you?
Very well. Do what you must. And whatever happens, I will own the consequences.
Don't be afraid, little one. Let me bear the weight. I think so. I can feel the icon inside me.
Entonces ahora voy a poder usar Leviatán.
Something's wrong.
¿Es el Leviatán?
He wasn't just afraid. He was angry. All right. Let's see what you've given me.
Ahora puedes usar los poderes del Leviatán. O despliega sus habilidades como diluvio, mar cruzado y explora nuevos estilos de combate. La destreza del Leviatán, clamor ofídico. Invoca una cabeza de Leviatán capaz de lanzar proyectiles acuáticos a distancia. Pulsa el cuadrado mientras la destreza está activa, ejecutará un disparo marino. Con el que lanza varios proyectiles acuáticos que influyen daño y hacen retroceder a los enemigos pequeños. Si pulsa el triángulo, ejecutará una rociada marina, por la que disparas un chorro de agua que te lleva al terreno donde ejecutaste e inflige daño a los enemigos cercanos. Al usar estos ataques irás disminuyendo cuando se vacíe por completo, no podrás ejecutar ningún ataque. Ahora se llega poco a poco con el paso del tiempo, pero se puede completar rápidamente pulsando círculo. Si vuelves a pulsar círculo, ejecutarás una recarga rápida que además de retirar la barra te permitirá atacar durante un tiempo espacial. Al pulsar R1 tras ejecutar una esquiva, hará pirueta en el aire. Solo puedo usar las de Leviatán.
Just a legend, but a formidable adversary nonetheless.
Oh, look. It has friends.
Help me, boy. That hurt, Torgal. Help me, boy. That hurt, Torgal. To me, boy. To me, boy. Help me, boy.
derrotado. O sea, este no es Leviatán ni hostia. Claro, yo digo, tío, eso es una especie de serpiente. Vale, esto es para enseñarte cómo funciona el icon.
Is everyone all right?
He seems calmer now.
You said Walius was frozen in time. But he knew we were here. How?
I don't know. He's never reacted to anything or anyone. Until now.
The child has been bound for nigh on a century. If he has been conscious from the first, we must remove the seal at once.
It's not that simple. I wish it were, but... there's more to this tale. It would be better if I explained back at the village.
I see. Then let's return before it gets dark.
I'm sorry, Walius. I will make this right. So, part of Leviathan is inside you now, is it? Does it hurt?
No. Not anymore, anyway.
Good. Because I still have need of your strength. If you want to know the rest, we should head to the Witten Hall.
Of course.
Delantera. Tendría que probarlo. Pero es que me pasa a mí que no... Esto es porquería. Capaz de retroceder al enemigo pequeño.
Look, Dad! The tree's back.
No, me mola mucho, la verdad.
To understand the spell which binds Walius, you must first know who we are. and what drove my forebears to commit such an atrocity. This tapestry is our story, the one that brought us here. After generations of wandering, my people sought refuge in northeastern Storm, some 170 years ago. But in exchange for our safety, the Gregorian Church demanded we renounce our faith and branded us heretics when we could not.
To be exterminated, as a lesson to others.
And so was it chronicled in the imperial histories, for anything less would have made the Church seem weak. Yet a handful survived. The few who did fled north and west, and in doing so discovered two things that would forever shape our fates. The first was an old legend, revealing how to make your very own mother crystal.
I've heard that one before.
Yes, yet it gave them new hope, however false. Our ancestors convinced themselves that they could recreate the divine if they could only find a strong enough heart. A living being capable of channeling torrents of ether. And the heavens provided.
A dominant. Well, yes.
They'd stumbled across a nostrum in an ancient ruin, which they believed could provoke a sudden outpouring of a creature's ether. They meant to enrage his icon. Leviathan would have destroyed everything, had our people not made their second important discovery. A means to stop time itself.
Where did they find that? The Northerners had no such magics, or they would have used them.
When our ancestors first arrived, the land was uninhabited, save for an old witch who lived on the highest peak. Her body had been consumed by the curse, a cruel payment for her long years of service to the Northern Thanes. So desperate were they to prevent the fall of Drake's Eye, they'd forced her to devise a spell to stop time.
But Drake's Eye did fall.
It did. When she finally perfected the necessary magics, it was already too late. As punishment for her failure, the Thanes exiled her to this forsaken place to live out the few days she had left. Knowing her suffering, our ancestors cared for her as best they could, and in return, she gifted them her spell. That even though she should die, her legacy might live on. So armed with both the knowledge of the ancients and the secrets of time, our ancestors settled upon an ambitious plan. They would create a new Mother Crystal and enchant it that it might endure for all eternity. Thus would our people's wandering, our suffering, finally end, and prosperity visit us once more. And all it would require was the sacrifice of a single child. A small price to pay, or so they believed.
Another victim of man's blind reliance on the Mother Crystals. So we know the seal source. How do we break it and restore the flow of time?
Do you recall the dome of light on top of the cliffs to the west? Inside lie the ruins of an old temple. It was there that the witch built the Vare, a conduit of sorts that channels her remaining ether into the surge. But it's been a long time since anyone set foot in the place. And now, there are others who claim it as their own.
Then we shall go prepared for a fight. That said, it may be best if one of us stays behind.
You think the village could be in danger?
We saw the ether flow from Wallius in all directions, but only encountered a single familiar. There will be more. And should even one make its way here, I doubt the walls could hold it back for long.
Then I shall stay. The Phoenix will see your people safe, tributary.
You have my thanks.
Very well. We should depart at once. I fear time may no longer be a luxury we can afford.
The Ver is not easy to find. We must first head north, and then west, deeper into the forest.
No sign of the child.
Oh, cada vez hay más misiones.
Bastard things. Oh, I never should have let him go alone.
Vamos a hacerlas todas antes de irnos.
Hail, stranger. Are you a rider by any chance?
I am. What gave me away?
Oh, I can smell it on you. The scent of the stables. And not just any stables. Something tells me you've never been one to ride half-starved birds with chine gall and wet beak. If I had a guess, I'd say your bird eats only the finest greens and has her feathers groomed twice a day with a curl hairbrush.
Nothing but the best for my ambrosia.
Ambrosia, eh? Pretty name. What's she like?
Well, she's tall and strong. And her feathers are as white as snow.
You're joking. You've got a white chocobo.
I have, yes. I suppose they are rather rare.
This I've got to see. Can you bring her here?
I would if I could, but I doubt Shula's skiff could hold her.
Me dad's got a boat. And he's ferried chocobos before. You could get him to bring her. It'd be perfect timing and all. He's preparing for a trip beyond the wall as we speak. I'm sure he'd help you if you asked.
He would. Well, I don't suppose it would hurt to have Ambrosia around. All right then. Where could I find your father?
He'll be in the storehouse on the other side of the brook. Tell him Manda sent you.
Ya tengo chocobo aquí.
Oh, I never should have let him go alone. Ty, take me. What am I gonna do? You've got to help me. Shula said you were a force to be reckoned with. Are you?
Why do you ask?
Eh? Oh, sorry. I should explain. My name's Kitav. I'm worried about a friend of mine. He went into the forest and he hasn't come back. Would you help me find him?
Hombre, claro.
I can try. Tell me what I need to know.
Of course. You know about the glamour our ancestors cast to keep this place hidden, right?
Shula told us about it, yes.
Right. So you know the cairns we use to maintain the spell? Well, it's me and my friend's job to maintain them. If it weren't for the likes of us, it would have faded years ago.
So your friend went into the forest to visit one of these cairns?
Aye, that's right. He said he was going down to Father's Fell. There are two cairns out that way, one by the banks of the Swift Run, and another near the Winged Wains, the, ships in the forest.
All right. How will I know this friend of yours?
His name's Nassef. He's about my height, but clean-shaven. If you could track him down and see that he's come to no harm, I'd be much obliged. I'll search the village, just in case anyone's seen him, and meet you back here.
Very well.
Pues vale. Iré a por él.
One cairn by the ships, another by the river. Better get moving.
Bastard things.
You one of the outsiders, then?
I am. Shula invited me. Are you Manda's father?
I am. Got you running errands for her already, has she?
She's asked to see my chocobo, but I'd need your help and your boat to bring her here.
Or you could just say no. Honestly, that girl and her birds, she'll be growing feathers soon enough.
Well, truth be told, I didn't take the idea seriously at first. But thinking about it, it would make it easier to get around if I had Ambrosia here. Can you help?
Well, if you're sure that's what you want. The tributary says we're to treat you lot as we would each other. So, if you need me to ferry your bird over, then that's what I'll do. Still, they don't take the water easily. I'll need you to bring us a mimic goat or two to keep her calm on the journey over.
And where would I find one of those?
Oh, don't ask me. It's been years since I last brought a chocobo across the bay, and I'm told the world's changed a fair bit since then. Where do you usually get your stable supplies from?
Well, the man who made Ambrosia's tack lived in Martha's Rest, and if I remember correctly, he traded in chocobo feed too. So I suppose I'll go and ask him.
I'll be sailing over to Northreach soon to pick up some supplies. While I do that, you collect your bird and your gourd, and then meet me by the shore. Just don't take too long, all right?
Perfecto.
Oh, I'll have her hide when she gets back. Oh, sorry. I was leagues away. How can I help you? If you're after something from the storehouse, it's actually my wife you'll want to talk to. She will have to charge you for the goods, though. Not that would fleece you or anything. It's just, you know, needs must.
I understand.
Saying that, she might not be able to get anything down for you for a bit.
Ah, right.
She's got her hands full with the inventory, you see. It should have been my daughter's job, really, but the willful little Rills decided to make herself scarce. The heavens only know where that girl's got to.
If you'd like me to keep an eye out for her.
Oh, no. I couldn't ask that of an outsider. Could I? You wouldn't mind?
Venga, hombre, voy a buscar al amigo del otro.
She won't have gone far, will she?
I hope not. But I've scoured the entire village for her and come up empty-handed. Can't help thinking she might have gone on another one of her little adventures.
Ah, a free spirit, is she?
Aye, that she is. Can't get her to sit still, especially once you heard you lot were on your way. Outsiders! Should have seen her little eyes light up. Oh, if she wanted to watch you arrive, she'd have made for the low gate where you first came in. The guard there might have spotted her. Maybe you could ask him. Ruka, her name is.
All right. I'll let you know if I find her. Try not to worry.
No sign of the child.
Sid? You are Sid, aren't you? The man the tributary told us about? I wonder if you could help me.
With what exactly?
Oh, nothing too troublesome. Do you know my husband, Pavat? He's the village smith, among other things. Anyway, his name day's not far off, and I wanted to make a gift for him. He's a craftsman, you see, and he's been fretting about running low on the flowers he uses for dye making, so I wondered if you might collect some for me and give them to him.
Would this gift not be better coming from you?
Perhaps, but it can't, for reasons I can't go into. Please, I know it sounds daft, but I'd be ever so grateful.
Fine. Which flowers does your husband need?
The sweet little blue ones that grow around the fount. Elder's blessings, they're called. We use them to dye our fabrics so we always feel close to water like they are. You don't need to go to the trouble of picking them yourself, though. Just speak to the field hands and ask them to share their harvest with you. 2 basketfuls should be enough for my husband to be getting on with.
2 basketfuls it is.
My lord, may I speak with you? There is a matter with which I would beg your aid.
Of course, what is it?
Please, not so loud.
Something serious then?
Yes. I think we might have company. I was passing by the low gate when I saw a figure moving among the trees up on the cloak. At first, I thought it must have been you or your brother, so I didn't say anything, but the more I think about it, the more certain I am that the figure looked familiar.
And you're sure it wasn't one of the other villagers?
Positive. I think it was someone from outside the wall who has found his way inside. Of course, it could just be my imagination playing tricks on me. I only caught a fleeting glimpse, and it might have been you or your brother. But if it is who I think it is, we cannot allow him to leave now that he knows we're here. Would you go and see? He won't try to hurt you, believe me. Given what lurks in the forest, the only one likely to get hurt is him.
Venga, lo busco.
Very well.
No te preocupes.
Whether the man you saw is who you believe him to be or not, we need to know. It may yet be someone else entirely. Someone who means your people, or my people, harm.
Perhaps. Just promise me that if you do find someone up there...
Don't worry. I won't draw my sword unless I need to.
Thank you.
Yamila,
Lo que voy a hacer es
this
pegarle un
man you
espadazo.
saw, might he be the customer you told me of?
I fear so.
The customer?
I'll explain later. Come on.
Estas putas de uno. Sabía yo que había una misión por aquí. A la fonda de María. No, de Marta. De Marza.
I remember you. You're the one who saved Whiteheart. How's the old girl doing?
She's very well. Thank you.
Oh, don't thank me. You're the one who saved her. Anyway, what brings you to the rest today?
I was hoping to purchase a Mimit gourd. And I thought you might be able to tell me where I could find one.
Oh, reckon I could do better than that. Just so happens, I've got a whole carload of the blasted things. Not a buyer in sight.
Really?
Aye, you'd be doing me a favor taking a few off my hands before they turn to mush. But just be on the lookout for wild birds, eh? Don't want them chasing after you like they did me.
I will. And thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Any friend of Whiteheart is a friend of mine. And in times like these, friends have got to stick together.
We certainly do. Northridge, then. Wouldn't want to keep Mander's father waiting.
And how might I help the garrison today?
Haven't seen any of those beastly blue eyes. Do be careful.
I will.
Fly, Ambrosia.
¿Qué aquí fue donde tuve que ir antes?
You deserve a rest.
Ah, there you are. And this must be Ambrosia, was it? Oh, she's a real beauty, isn't she?
I have the mimic or two. Here.
Ha traído una, coño. Le ha dicho, tengo un montonazo, llévate. Una. Tío puta.
Thank you
Agarrado.
kindly. Soon as she's gobbled this up, we'll set sail.
We're going to take a little trip across the bay now, Ambrosia. Don't worry. You'll be all right. Well, we made it.
You didn't all? She is as white as snow. You're beautiful, aren't you, girl?
Brave, too. She was calm as you like on the journey over. The mimic gourd will have played its part, of course, but passing through the walls enough to spook most birds even then. Not this one, though.
Ambrosia's been through a lot. I doubt there's much that could unnerve her now.
Not with a beloved master by her side.
No. It's you who looks after me, isn't it, girl?
Anyway, thanks for bringing her here. I hope I can breed a bird like her someday.
And if you and Ambrosia need ferrying back to Northreach, you only need say the word.
Thank you. But I think we might explore Mysidia together. What do you say, Ambrosia?
Hala, mira, 2 millones de experiencia. Ay, eso es lo que yo quería. No veas tú andarte toda patita. Bueno, vámonos. Vamos primero aquí al lado.
Excuse me. You haven't seen the storekeeper's daughter, have you?
Little Ruka? I have, as it happens. She went out through the gate not long ago.
Out of the village? Alone?
Aye, she does it all the time. There's a path off to the left which leads down to the river. Nice little spot, that. And safe as you like. The beasts of the mountain don't dare come so close to the village. That's where she'll be. Go and have a look if you don't believe me.
I will.